YouTube, Baconlicious here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. This video is actually for a school project, but since it's about art, I thought my subscribers wouldn't mind hearing about it. Plus, I'll be covering things I'm doing now and I'll hopefully be doing in the future. Basically, in this video, I'll be covering several different mediums that were used in 4 different art pieces covered in my class. You'll be able to see a bit of what I'm discussing on the screen as I'm discussing it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first medium I'm going to be covering is a bit of an interesting topic, which is called assemblage art. Assemblage art is created by using pieces of things to create art rather than painting or drawing on a canvas. In the piece Between Earth and Heaven, bottle caps and copper wire were used to create a fluid piece. Assemblage art pieces are usually three-dimensional, as are sculptures or carvings. The difference between the two is that sculptures and carvings are usually created using one material, for example, clay or wood. Assemblage art can be made of anything that fits together. The next medium is something closer to carving, as it is a strictly wood medium. In terms of the fantasy coffins of Africa, most are made of wawa, also known as obeche. Wawa is a wood that is pale yellow when dried and is malleable and easy to work with. This wood is used when making pieces of art called fantasy coffins. Fantasy coffins are coffins that are crafted to look like something that represents the person being buried inside of them. Farmers are usually buried in coffins of seeds or plants, while leaders are buried in coffins that look like spiritual animals. The third medium is photography, which I find extremely interesting. I know people who are into photography, and while I do not work adamantly in the medium, I hold a high amount of respect for people who do. The amount of patience and understanding of a camera one must have is something that should be admired. Photography is something that is used to capture images as they are, not as they appear. Most art mediums are created through an artist's perception of an object, while photography is raw truth with symbolism mixed in. The last two are probably my favorite. The first part of it is charcoal, which I've had the chance to work with in an art class. Charcoal is sort of like a really soft pencil that you can smudge very easily, which allows for great shading. However, it's also really easy to screw up and erase. The art piece we covered was an animation done in charcoal that used the erasing technique in a creative way. Even when using charcoal, the lines really never go away and leave behind a faint residue of the lines. The animation thus had remnants of the previous frame in every frame, which created a focus on the past and the present. The other part of the art piece, as I said, was that it was an animation. The thing I find admirable about it is that it was a frame-by-frame animation. I personally prefer to use vector animation because it limits how much I have to draw and makes it smoother. Now, for those of you who do use frame-by-frame animation, it was also all drawn on paper. Up to 500 frames were drawn on the same piece of paper. There was no ability to look at frames drawn ahead, only the previous frames. Here are a couple examples of my own animations comparing vector versus frame-by-frame. As you can see, the vector one was, while poorly done, smooth and fluent. The frame by frame was much more choppy, but even as a work in progress, had overall better anatomy. That is all I have for you today. Hopefully I will be able to release some more interesting videos soon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!